Welcome back to Luxury Auto on the channel where we usually dive into the world of luxury vehicles, refined living and everything that defines sophistication, but today we take a detour into a different kind of drama, the kind that unfolds live on television and leaves the world talking for weeks. Our story today is about Prince Harry and a fiery confrontation with popular British host Lorraine Kelly. What was supposed to be a lighthearted morning show segment spiraled into a heated argument that no producer could have predicted. It became a headline-grabbing cultural moment that blurred the line between celebrity vulnerability and journalistic persistence. It all began with anticipation. Lorraine Kelly, known for her warm smile and easygoing charm, was thrilled to welcome Prince Harry to her show. She had teased the appearance all week, presenting it as an intimate conversation about Harry's charity projects, his life in America, and his ongoing work with veterans. The studio audience filled their seats, buzzing with excitement. Viewers across Britain tuned in, eager to hear from the prince, who had walked away from royal duty and carved out a new life far from the palace walls. When Harry entered the studio, the applause was loud and genuine. He smiled, shook Lorraine's hand, and sat down across from her. The cameras captured the moment perfectly, a picture of civility and charm, but beneath the surface there was tension. Lorraine opened with a compliment about his work with mental health advocacy, but then immediately pivoted to a sharper question. She asked how he balanced his private life with his very public criticisms of the royal family. Harry stiffened visibly, his smile faded, and he responded with carefully chosen words, saying he only spoke out to protect his family from harm. Lorraine nodded politely but pushed further. She asked whether Harry regretted the interviews and documentaries that many critics saw as cashing in on royal connections. Harry's expression darkened. He leaned forward, saying firmly, "I have never cashed in on my family. I have spoken my truth." Lorraine did not back down. Instead, she replied, "But Harry, don't you think the public sees it differently? Don't you think the public sees contradiction in wanting privacy but giving interviews to millions of people?" The tension in the room was unmistakable. Harry's voice grew sharper. He said, "The public doesn't know what it's like to live under that kind of pressure, to wake up every day knowing your family is being hunted." Lorraine kept her calm smile, but her words carried weight. She told him, "But you are still using your title. You are still Prince Harry, and with that title comes attention, responsibility, and scrutiny. You can't separate the two." Harry shook his head, his voice rising. "I never asked for the title. I was born into it, and I chose to step away from it." The argument quickly shifted gears. Harry accused the British media of fueling hatred. Lorraine countered that Harry himself fed that media cycle by speaking so publicly. Harry's hands gestured passionately as he said, "I cannot stay silent when my wife has been attacked relentlessly, when my mother was hounded to death." Lorraine's tone softened for a moment, acknowledging his pain, but she then said, "And yet, Harry, you knew the cost when you chose to do Oprah, when you chose Netflix deals. The media didn't put you there, you did." The crowd reacted with murmurs, some gasping at Lorraine's bluntness. Harry leaned back, shaking his head, disbelief etched on his face. He accused her of twisting his motives. Lorraine replied, "No, Harry, I'm asking the questions millions want to ask." "The viewers at home are struggling to understand the contradiction between your words and your actions." Harry interrupted, his voice louder now. "My actions are about protecting my family. Do you understand what it means to wake up fearing for your children?" Lorraine responded calmly, "I understand fear, Harry, but many people would say you are also creating that spotlight, not escaping it." At this point, the producers behind the cameras grew nervous. They whispered frantically, debating whether to move to commercial, but Lorraine and Harry were locked into their exchange. The tension had turned into a full-blown argument. Harry accused Lorraine of being part of the media machine that exploited pain. Lorraine defended herself, saying her responsibility was to ask hard questions, not to flatter powerful guests. Harry's voice grew even more emotional. He said, "My wife cried every night because of headlines. My mother lost her life because of them, and you sit here smiling, asking why I speak out." Lorraine's expression grew serious. She told him, "Harry, no one doubts your pain, but pain does not make you immune to scrutiny. Pain does not mean you can't be questioned if you were in the public eye." Harry stood up suddenly, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. The audience gasped. He began pacing, his words pouring out, "You people will never understand. You want entertainment, you want ratings, but you don't want to understand the cost of it." Lorraine remained seated, her calm demeanor contrasting with his visible anger. She looked directly at the camera and said, "Viewers at home, this is what it means to live in the spotlight. The truth is messy, emotional, and sometimes confrontational." Security began to edge closer to the stage. Producers gestured frantically, but Harry continued speaking passionately, pacing back and forth, saying, "You think this is about fame? This is about survival, about making sure history does not repeat itself." Lorraine stood then for the first time, her voice firmer. "Harry, survival does not mean silencing every question. Survival does not mean controlling every narrative. This is a conversation, not a coronation." The clash reached its peak when Harry turned directly to Lorraine saying, "You represent the very machine that destroyed my mother's life," and Lorraine replied, her voice quiet but sharp, "And you represent a prince who still wants the privilege without the duty." The audience erupted, half in shock, half in applause. The cameras captured the raw emotion on Harry's face, his struggle between pain and defiance. At that moment, producers made the decision to cut to commercial, leaving the argument unresolved on live television. When the cameras stopped rolling, Harry reportedly stormed off the set, visibly furious with producers. Lorraine remained calm, speaking with the audience, explaining that live television means facing unfiltered moments. Witnesses described the atmosphere backstage as chaotic, some staffers siding with Harry, others with Lorraine, but everyone agreeing it had been one of the most unforgettable interviews in recent memory. Within minutes, clips of the confrontation spread across social media. Hashtags like Harry vs Lorraine and Royal Clash trended worldwide. Commentators debated whether Lorraine had been too harsh or whether Harry had failed to handle reasonable questions. Newspapers ran front-page headlines about the meltdown, some sympathetic to Harry, others critical.